Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about an issue that's very important to me, and that is for people to have the right to say cracker on Twitch. And you know, I used to think Twitch was a very progressive and politically correct platform, but after seeing that they've banned people from making fun of other people's skin color, I'm very disappointed in them, and I think this is the wrong move. And I agree with Hasan when he said that Twitch needs to stop capitulating to white supremacists, because that's exactly what's going on here. They're giving in to white supremacy by banning people who are using racial insults, and it just sucks to see Twitch heading in this direction. And I don't know how they're not aware that when black people use the word cracker, they're not using it as an insult, they're just doing it because they gotta blow off some steam.
They're doing it as someone who's been historically oppressed, blowing off steam.
So because Twitch banned this word, I think white people are just being way too sensitive here, and they need to stop wanting to be oppressed so badly, and they have to realize that they have all the power. Black people are powerless.
A person calling you a fucking cracker is powerless.
And you know, Hasan's a pretty down-to-earth and rational guy, so I think people should listen to him. If he says you shouldn't be offended by a word, then you shouldn't be offended by it. And Hasan's never going to use a word that's offensive. He's very respectful. He would never say anything to offend somebody.
Listen to me. If you're too retarded to understand what my fucking point is, that's not my fault. Okay? Yeah, I said the R word.
Your father, the devil.
Not drive towards the fucking stairs? Are you fucking retarded?
And I think if somebody insults you, the best thing to do is just not let it get you down. Like, don't let it offend you. Like, that's the best advice I think somebody could give. Unless you're like a minority and you don't have any power, then of course you can be offended by it. But if you're somebody else, then just don't be offended. Just live your life. Who the hell cares? You have more important things to be offended by. Like when someone tells you you can't insult somebody's skin color. Those are the kind of problems that white people have to deal with. And it's not easy. Like when Hasan got banned after trying to use the word cracker, his way of coping with it was going on the H3 podcast and obsessing over white people for 3 hours. Like, do you think Hasan actually enjoys talking about white people that much and giving white people that much attention? He did that podcast to show that white people shouldn't be offended and they're overly sensitive. And thank God his good friend Ethan came to his defense and backed him up. Like, if you're in a heated debate about something, Ethan Klein is the kind of guy you want on your side. You know, the kind of guy that backs out of a debate last minute. And everyone knows Ethan has a very consistent, well thought out opinion on every topic, and he's not just going to blindly defend somebody because they're his friend or he likes them. Like, he actually has to believe in what this person is saying, and everything that Ethan says is very well thought out. He never says anything that he regrets right away. Like this tweet, for example, I thought this was a really great take from him. He's responding to Keemstar and he said, "Being white isn't a race, dipshit." And for some reason, Ethan just deleted the tweet right away, because I think he probably knew people aren't ready for such a nuanced take. But don't worry, him and Hila ended up getting back at Keemstar by ratioing him. They really got him good here, and this is just embarrassing for Keemstar. Hopefully one day he can understand that it's okay to insult people because their skin color, and being white, that's not a race, dumbass. So back to Twitch. I think it's kind of weird that people are still getting banned for saying cracker, you know? It's so weird. I thought Hasan established that it's okay to say the word. I don't understand why Twitch is out there banning people. And you know, I think the more Twitch bans people for using racial insults, the more racist Twitch is, and the more they're appealing to the white supremacists. And I think Twitch is just out of control with this. And I think if you're a Twitch streamer, you should think about leaving, because the platform is clearly racist. Why would you let a platform that's giving in to white supremacy profit off of you? I think the best way to prove that you're not racist is to get banned for being racist on Twitch. And if you're just sitting around on Twitch not saying cracker at all and not insulting white people, then you're giving in to white supremacy. Alright, so I have this tweet from a guy who's recently banned on Twitch for saying cracker, and he tweeted this. He said, "I wish Twitch was this consistent protecting people of color." Exactly. Twitch is racist. They don't care about black people. They're doing nothing to protect them. They only want to protect white people. I don't ever see them protect people of color. And I don't think any of their biggest streamers are people of color. You know, it's a racist platform. If they really cared about people of color, they would let them use the word cracker as an insult. It's just that simple. But obviously they don't care. And soon I'm sure their platform is just going to be flooded with white supremacists. That's what they're asking for here. And this is exactly what Twitch gets for trying to do all their woke bullshit. Like, you can never be woke enough. And now I'm being serious. Like, the rest of the video is obviously a joke, but Twitch definitely deserves all this shit, and I'm glad people are going after them. I think all this is just really stupid, and I don't know why people need the ability to say cracker so badly, but Twitch is asking for all this shit, trying to attract such a woke crowd and trying to make sure everything's so politically correct. Like, it turns out when it gets to a point, being politically correct is a bad thing. Like, when they made this rule, I'm sure they're just trying to be as sensitive as possible, and they're like, you know, let's just make sure that people cannot insult each other based on their skin color. You know, that sounds like a good idea, but no, it turns out that rule is giving in to white supremacists, and you just can't win here. Like, Twitch, it doesn't matter what they do, they're not going to win. Like, you try to be really sensitive to people's feelings and really woke, and guess what? You piss off the people that try to be really sensitive and woke. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, that's a great rule, you shouldn't be able to insult somebody based on their skin color, and then when they realize you can't say cracker, they're all of a sudden like, oh, what the hell? I didn't know I couldn't say that. This rule sucks. Like, let's get rid of it. And now, of course, people are criticizing them because they protect white people too much and they don't protect people of color enough. Like, this is just all so fucking goofy. Like, what are we even doing here anymore? It's so funny how this turned into some giant thing, like some giant controversial topic. Like, out of all the problems in the world, this is what people are focusing on. And obviously I'm focusing on it as well because it is interesting. Like, I've already made 2 videos about it, but also, I'm not like trying to act like I'm a political activist or anything like that. I'm just some guy who talks about stupid shit on the internet, and this is something that is definitely stupid. Like, this is one of the dumbest controversies I've seen in a while, and people could easily just be like, all right, I'll stop saying cracker. Like, who the hell really cares? And I mean, you can say the word, just not towards anybody. Like, people are saying, oh, you're comparing it to the N-word. Well, the N-word, you can't say at all. And if you say it, like anything that even sounds like it, you're gonna get banned. And I don't think you should be able to say it. But at what point do you just go, you know, who the fuck cares anymore? Just say whatever the hell you want. I'm sick of trying to police everything. Like, who's the person who should decide what words are offensive or not, or what words people should be offended by or not? Like, is Hasan the person to do that? Like, it's weird hearing him try to convince people that they shouldn't be offended by a word. Like, that seems like something you probably shouldn't do. Like, if it were any other word, people would get really pissed at him for doing that. Like, imagine if he's trying to explain why people of color shouldn't be offended by the N-word, which obviously the N-word's a lot worse than cracker. Like, they're nowhere near each other. But I think if you're going to give good advice and you want to be honest, you should just say people shouldn't be offended by any words. Like, if you're somebody who doesn't let anything get you down and you don't let anybody's insults affect you, then you're going to live a lot happier than somebody who gets offended whenever somebody insults them. Like, people are using insults to try to get you down. So when they do get you down, then they're doing their job. And instead, if you just brush it off and not let it affect you, then the person insulting you is going to look like an idiot, and you're going to be a lot happier, and you're going to come out ahead in the situation. So I think it's weird that Hasan's always saying white people shouldn't be offended by things, or they shouldn't be offended by the word cracker or anything like that. Like, here's a video really quick where Hasan's reacting to a video where these black people are talking about how white people are really good at being violent and colonizing and shit like that. And someone in the chat's like, this makes me embarrassed to be white, and I just feel like shit after watching this. And listen to Hasan's response.
I really can see why this makes white people mad. It makes me feel embarrassed and bad. Well, you shouldn't. I don't think you should be embarrassed by black people saying this about white people. Why the fuck do you care? Like, you didn't do any of that shit. As long as you're a good person.
So I think this is funny because Hasan's talking about how white people shouldn't be offended when people are stereotyping them or insulting them or whatever, which isn't a bad take. Like, it'd be good if he said these people shouldn't be saying these things, but I like that he's saying, like, you shouldn't be offended by this stuff. If you didn't do anything like this, then who cares? Like, if you're a good person, then don't let anything get you down. Like, that's a good attitude to have. But I think you should be saying that about everyone, not just white people, because that's a thing that I think everybody should understand. Like, if somebody's being racist, that's obviously really fucked up and you should call it out. But why get offended by that? Like, the person who's being racist is a fucking idiot and everybody knows it. They're just embarrassing themselves. And I think that's something Hasan should say more. Like, maybe he does, I don't know. But it seems like he's more towards the side, like, black people, they have the right to be offended by everything. It's okay if they're sensitive. But white people, they need to get over it and they shouldn't be offended by anything. And also, I do want to add, people of color, they obviously have more of a right to get offended by things and get angry about these things because the history is a lot worse. But the best advice I can give you is, if somebody is trying to insult you like that, just don't let it even affect you. Alright, so that's about it for this video. Make sure you hit the like button and then leave me a comment and then hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.